What screams, "I'm not a good person." Never accepting blame for anything. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. Disrespectful of people's personal property in their home. I know someone who had a coworker house sit for them and the person completely rearranged the house. Needless to say, no one likes the coworker anymore. Constantly telling people you are a good person. I too am extraordinarily humble. Laughing at, making fun of other people's interests and hobbies. I hate this. My favorite thing in the world is watching people's faces as they explain something they love. My coach at my gym has explained this one thing to me like 8 times, but I never stop him because I can see how much he loves coaching. When something makes someone happy, when it makes their whole face light up, it's wonderful, and anyone that tries to extinguish that is a garbage person. Edit. Thank you everyone for the kind and thoughtful and insightful comments. I promise I read them all. Be good to each other. Being a dick to everyone else. Then trying to excuse that behavior by saying, "I'm just brutally honest." The "I'm just keeping it real" type. Talking shit about mutual friends when they're not around. If they'll do that with your other friends, damn sure they're doing it with you too. And being nice, speaking to you on your own, but in a group situation showing off and being a dick to you. Punching down, i.e. treating those below you badly. Be that at work, service workers, children, etc. Because you perceive yourself as higher status. If you want to know what a man's like, take a good look at how he treats his inferiors, not his equals. Sirius Black, Schrodinger's douchebag bag. Judging whether or not what you just said was a joke depending on the reaction of people around you. Littering. Went on a first date with a girl. We just finished playing laser tag. Got blizzards from DQ. And when she's done, she just throws it out the window. Instant deal breaker. Why do people do this? I just don't understand. Should have pulled over and kicked her out, but then you'd be no different than her. Consistently talking shit behind people's backs. I read this as consistently taking shits behind people's backs, lol. Edit. Thanks for the karma and happy cake day wishes everyone. Really appreciate it. And thanks for my first silver. Mystery person. Stealing stuff. Lying to people. Avoiding your responsibilities and sticking someone else with the bill. Never paying debts. Even small ones. If you borrow money, even $1, with the promise to pay back, do so. The best ones are the ones where you ask for your money back and they're all, "Damn seriously, you're asking me for those $5 back? It's just $5. Yeah, it is, yet here you were a couple of weeks ago desperately asking for just $5. Someone told me before, "It's just $40, you have money, man." I wanted to beat the shit out of them. Taking any kind of criticism or conflicting opinion as a personal attack. No. Battering everyone else's opinions into the ground and eventually personally attacking others in questioning their intelligence for disagreeing with you isn't healthy discourse. Edit. I got mentioned in a BuzzFeed article. I am famous, lads. Or when facts prove you wrong and your rebuttal is, "I'm not going to concede my point of view." Literally impossible to socialize and be friends with someone who's too stubborn to admit they're wrong sometimes. Hurting animals. That screams psychopath. I know this sounds manipulative and rude, but manipulative statement shit like that. Just "I know this sounds" or "I am not being ____" statements in general. Mocking people for liking unpopular but harmless things. People who proudly state that they are assholes and have no intentions to change for anyone. The world doesn't revolve around you. Quit being a dick. People think that being self-aware completely ameliorates anything they've done wrong. It's one of the most obnoxious things. Making fun of other people's appearances, especially of things that aren't easily, immediately fixable and cost money to do so. Acne, crooked teeth, big noses and such. Edit. Well, my first silver. Thank you so much. Edit 2, Gold 2. You guys are awesome. Yes. If you feel it is necessary to point out someone's physical flaws, or don't care if it will hurt them, then you suck as a person. I don't understand why someone would really want to have an awkward moment of hurting someone's feelings like that. Then sometimes they'll say, "What? I'm just being honest." Like, no shit, dude. Clearly, you're not trying to have any kind of social filter. That doesn't mean it's okay. There's a lot of things we can say that are honest that still shouldn't be said without good context. Would you walk around telling people about your own back acne, or your hemorrhoids, or your fungus toenails for the sake of making an unnecessary honest comment? Quote, "I'm just being honest." No, you're being a cunt. Playing music audibly on public transport when others can hear. See also, FaceTiming without headphones. Not taking personal responsibility for your actions and purposefully withholding important information from someone for your own self-preservation or selfish reasons. My friend told me that the person I was interested in knew my feelings for him, but conveniently left out a part that he felt the same way about me. Edit. This person had a previous relationship with the boy and was still very possessive of him, and also felt threatened that our relationship had the potential to be better than theirs. Too proud to apologize. Edit. Thank you for the silver, kind stranger. This is the worst. I have a buddy who never apologizes. I understand if it was an accident and you didn't mean to spill your drink on me, but at least give a sorry instead of just saying, "Dude, that sucks," or, "Well, I didn't think it would hit you." Someone who goes out of their way to insult, criticize anyone or for the smallest mistake or inconsistency, treating waitstaff badly. If they're willing to be rude to someone in public, I can only imagine the kinds of stuff they say in private. Anyone who relies on a service and then demeans those who provide that service are complete garbage. Like, I can understand why you might not see a job at McDonald's as a great career, but if you want to be able to eat your fucking McNuggets, you have to respect the people providing them. Monsieur. Q jumping. Those people cutting others off the line just because they think they should be first or spawns up. TBE devil. To add to this, people who drive on the shoulder during traffic because they think they are somehow above sitting in traffic like everyone else. People will always blame everyone else for leaving the monsieur, like all my exes were crazy, is probably not true. You probably did something to drive them off the edge. Not being introspective enough to realize you're the root of your problems is probably one. In many cases, it isn't that the "all my exes were crazy" types drove their exes over the edge. It's that the exes were completely normal, and the assholes just interpret that normal behavior as crazy. And then there's the 1 in a million person that really did end up hooking up with a chain of crazy stalkers. There are also those that gravitate to a certain type of toxic relationship. In some cases it very well could be that the main problematic element is in fact the exes. What you won't hear them say is that they keep making the same choices and getting the same results. My first job was in retail, and I used to think the worst bottom of the pile people were the kind of PPL who would take a shit load of clothes from hangers and try them on and just leave a heap on the floor in the change room, monsieur. Or in grocery stores, the people who randomly decide they don't want that raw steak or gallon of ice cream they picked out, so they leave it in some random aisle on some random shelf because they're too lazy and selfish to put it back. As someone who worked in a supermarket job for ages, this sort of thing pissed me off no end. People don't understand that there's strict regulation for how you have to store that stuff, especially if it's frozen or refrigerated. Usually, we had to throw that sort of stuff out, which costs money to the company and it means food waste, which isn't good for anybody or the environment. Removed. Seriously, keep it to yourselves. Like, get a room or something. Changing lanes without using your turn signals. Asterisk apologize as in Florida. Asterisk. You have too many things to apologize for, Florida. Saw this in another thread. But those people who throw popcorn onto the floor when they see a movie theater employee to give them something to do. I try to be a good person, but I am probably failing and I don't even know it. Edit. Holy shit, 1.1k upvotes, thank you so much, less than 3. I've never heard of this before. People actually do it? It's probably the same people who leave their trays and trash on the table at McDonald's and say it's their job for the workers to clean up behind them. Monsieur, the workers at my local McDonald's call people out on their shit and I love it. As a former movie theater employee, yeah, people definitely do that. And those who do make sure to tell the crew waiting to clean the theater that they did. And that we should be thankful for it, because without them being fucking disgusting assholes, we wouldn't have a job. I actually really enjoyed my job at the theater. My coworkers were awesome and I got so much exercise running around on busy night. But it felt like at least 30% of our guests were pricks on a power trip one way or another. No awareness of their wrongdoings and is non-trustworthy. Seems like a no-brainer. Being rude because you haven't had your coffee yet, or some similar excuse. Be an adult like the rest of us and learn to control your emotions regardless of your caffeine intake. I'll be faithful once I put a ring on it. Ever mentioning survival of the fittest is an excuse for being an asshole. Edit. I meant in a serious, actually believes it way. I think it's perfectly okay to joke about Darwin Awards and stuff. People who aren't able to be excited for you when you succeed, no matter how small the success, they always see other people's success as a threat to their own worth. Then, they'll get upset if you don't celebrate for them. Monsieur, I had a best friend in HS, now an ex-BFF, who yelled at me that I didn't deserve to get a flute solo in our marching band show because I was drum major. Believe me, I didn't want it. Ask for it. I have bad anxiety. Anyways, what makes it worse was that she had a major solo, the whole ballad, 1 year. Every single year, she just didn't know how to celebrate anyone but herself. Leaving your shopping cart in a parking space. When you mention something from a prior conversation and when they don't remember having the conversation, they're like, I probably wasn't even listening, haha. Like, just say I don't remember. Damn. But if I say I don't remember, don't start arguing that you did tell me. I didn't remember. Now I do. Let's move on. How you treat individuals who work in the service industry, e.g., waiters, janitors, etc. Disguising yourself as a snake knowing your brother loves snakes. Waiting until he picks you up and then transforming back onto yourself yelling, "Be warg. It's me." And stabbing hi monsieur at 8 years old. Pushing a boy out of a tower window to keep banging your sister a secret. Backstabbing people but appears to be nice and helpful in your face. Anyone who abuse kids, the elderly or animals. Being rude to servers, retail workers, etc. People recording themselves giving homeless people money or food for social media. I'm glad someone posted this. Doing good deeds for likes and upvotes is a super shitty thing to do. Being flaky. Agreeing to do things, then not even having the common courtesy to let you know they aren't going to show up. That's a common sign of clinical depression. Half of this shit in this thread is explainable by things other than not being a good person. People just always like to assume the worst of people. Oh, he must just be an asshole. I think it's called hand razor. Hand razor. Never attribute to malice what can adequately be explained by incompetence. Not to disagree, because I do mostly agree. But it's important to distinguish that some people get pretty bad anxiety about plans or are just really introverted. Also, flaky people do need to get their shit together. But I don't think it makes them bad people. Publicly ridiculing a person, it ruins their self-esteem and makes that person look bad. If they're an anti-vaxxer, fuck you if you're an anti-vaxxer. Anti-vaxxers, people that make their cats go vegan. You can tell a lot about someone by how they treat animals. People who are unnecessarily rude and demanding to waiters or staff for no reason. That sense of arrogance and self-entitlement is a huge red flag emo. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.